We have a very important sponsor here today, somebody who's really stepped up to the plate and helped Instituto through a couple of tough times here, been a great sponsor in a couple of our events, and somebody who's really actively involved in the private equity community. Her and her institution, Citibank, have really developed some leadership, and we just really like to thank them. And I'd like to invite Gloria Lee up to the microphone here.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I frequently speak in front of groups about finance and investing, and there are fund managers and pension funds and portfolio companies and real estate developers, but I don't really get a chance to speak to this audience, so it's really a privilege this morning. My name is Gloria Lee, and I'm with Citigroup, or Citi. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the work that we're doing, and particularly mention a recent initiative within our renewable energy investing that we have just launched. But before I do that, I wanted to first say how much at Citi we value our relationship with Instituto. We've partnered together on financial education and providing banking services to the working poor and immigrant populations, and it's been a real privilege, and we're very happy to be participating and supporting the breakfast this morning. I also wanted to introduce just two colleagues of mine who are really primarily the reason that I'm standing here today, and they've been the leaders and really managing and leading the relationship with Instituto, and they're part of our community relations department, Cheryl Evans and Jenny Flores. Could you just wave your hands? It's been a tough year for the bank, and the fact that we're here and continuing to able to support organizations like the Instituto is a real testament to their work. So we thank them for that. Just to set some context, Citigroup's a large institution, and we've had a fairly turbulent year in the financial and credit markets. What you read in the headlines and all of that, we don't. You read the same things I read, but one of the areas that doesn't really get talked about is how much we're doing in providing both debt and equity capital for inner city and low and moderate income areas, and also areas where large immigrant populations live and work. As an extension to that, last year, with regard to climate change, Citigroup made the unprecedented commitment of a $50 billion commitment to climate change. And it's really, as far as I know, it's really unprecedented in terms of any kind of private corporation making that kind of commitment. I'm not involved in all of those activities, but I just wanted to share a little bit with you about what that involves. It really spans and covers all of the different areas of Citigroup. There are a variety of initiatives underway and implemented new policies for assessing environmental risk as part of our investment banking and other financing activities. A lot of that gets tiered to, whether they're mitigating factors and rating environmental impacts. And in some cases, it just means turning down business that we would have done in the past, but now we think is really not worth pursuing. We are also heavily investing in clean technologies through our alternative investment group. We are partnering with energy efficiency nonprofit organizations as well as advising groups on how to help bring more LEED or energy efficiency or clean technology implementation to communities throughout. And we're also speaking increasingly with municipalities and city government about implementing green building standards and the impacts that might have, and the smart ways to do that in a business-friendly way that would not be adversarial to bringing in financing capital. And lastly, and maybe most modestly, there's our group, which invests capital on behalf of the firm for green investing. And I wanted to just highlight a couple of those today. Part of the story of how we got into green investing stems from where we sit in the organization. I am part of Citi Community Capital, which is a standalone business division separate and apart from our thriving activities in community relations and foundations. We work very closely with them, but we are a business unit that has the same goals and pressures as other divisions within Citigroup. Citi Community Capital, however, is unique in the sense that our core mission is just dedicated on finding financial lending and investing activities that also promote a social agenda or social objective. Mainly, it is about poverty and low and moderate income areas and low and moderate income workers. Increasingly, it's the triple bottom line of bringing that as well as green and renewable and climate change practices into our activities. Within where I sit, there are a few activities that I think would be of interest to the audience today. One area is that we have an active private equity investing practice that invests in fund managers and real estate and business companies that typically don't have access to mainstream capital markets. They are largely managed by first-time fund managers with a particular focus on either ethnic minority, people of color, low and moderate income areas. Our portfolio is one of the largest, if not the largest, in the banking sector. We have about $600 million of commitments throughout the country, a heavy percentage of that being in the state of California. In addition to that, we are actively investing in what I would call tax-oriented investments that Citi or other private investors would not be able to make without federal tax incentives, such as the New Markets Tax Credit. The New Markets Tax Credit, for those of you who don't know, brings private capital to the most highly economically distressed areas throughout the country. It's generally used for commercial real estate expanding facilities, building charter schools, building healthcare clinics, and in a way that's cost effective and would not otherwise get done without the tax incentives. Lastly, I wanted to talk to you about a growing area, which is in our renewable energy investing activities. We have made several number of investments that both target good financial return as well as environmental or renewable energy initiatives. The very first is an investment that we made several years back in the Bay Area Community Equity Fund. That is a venture capital fund that promotes investing capital into the 46 poorest areas in the Bay Area, as well as having a green environmental component to it, investing in solar installation companies and other technology companies. The partner of that fund is here at the breakfast. I actually didn't know you were here, Nancy, but Nancy, maybe you could just stand up and wave. Nancy Fund is the partner of that fund. Citigroup was one of the founding investors and helped launch that fund, and we're very proud supporters. It's been very successful, and she's widely considered to be one of the national leaders in triple bottom line investing. The second example I wanted to provide for you was a deal that we did last year, which is to finance what was at that time the largest solar installation in North America. We helped finance 14 megawatts of solar on site for the Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. And we did that in a way to really provide affordable green energy to the Air Force Base and the residents who live there. It was a very big endeavor, and we partnered, as we often do, we partnered with a group that specializes in renewable energy. And that was a really big success for us. It was one of the largest deals we had done, and it actually helped us start thinking about, well, what else can we do in renewable energy? And one of the areas that we really wanted to tackle was trying to bring affordable green energy financing programs to smaller companies or smaller sites, definitely not the Fortune 500, companies that want to go green, but that don't have the startup capital, don't have the financing expertise, don't know the engineering, the solar, all of that technical expertise that's required, all the inhibitors of going green. And earlier this month, I'm pleased to announce that we finished and closed on what I think is a really innovative product, which is called our Helio Community Investment Fund. That fund, which is in partnership with Helio Micro-Utility, based out of Berkeley, California, is, I think, the first of its kind in the sense that we are bringing an affordable financing program for community-based commercial and public sector sites, such as like charter schools, healthcare clinics, community theaters, other facilities, in a way that really shelters or allows the site owners not to have to put up a lot of capital up front, and also helps them lock in long-term rates at discounted prices, helps them go green, and provides all of the management, oversight, operations, maintenance support in order to do that. Again, we've done that in partnership with the group based here in Berkeley, called Helio Micro-Utility, and the partner for that is here with me, and I also wanted to just introduce him. His name is Greg Rosen. Hi, Greg. We're rolling out our sites throughout California initially, with a heavy emphasis in the Northern California market, given Helio Micro-Utility's location and headquarters. And we're just really excited to do that. It's been difficult for the smaller sites to go green when they want to go green, and financing, especially in this market, has been a big inhibitor. So the ability to be able to be innovative and creative and bring that kind of capital and launch this kind of fund is really exciting for us, so we're proud to do that. Having said all that, I mean, we still have a long way to go, and we have a lot to learn, and we're just starting to get into the space. And so I encourage you to come and share your thoughts with us and give us some feedback in areas and ways that we can more integrate our activities with both the labor and union, and also in a way that brings capital and jobs into low and moderate income areas and into the immigrant communities in which we live. And so without going any further, I'll just say that thank you again for inviting us here. We're happy to be here, and please feel free to come up to us and introduce yourselves, and I look forward to talking to you later on throughout the morning. Thank you.